Welcome. This is the Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing podcast. This is where you'll learn strategies to help you achieve lifetime financial freedom through real estate investment. Your host, Rod Khleif, has owned over 2,000 homes and apartments, and he brings experts in all aspects of real estate investment and management onto the show. Now, here's your host, Rod Khleif.
Welcome to Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing. I'm Rod Khleif, and I'm thrilled you're here. Before we get to our guest, I want to mention a couple of quick things. I always tell you, if you like what you hear on the show, please subscribe to us on iTunes so you never miss another episode. I also want to let you know that every week I do one of two short 5 to 10 minute shows called, one of them is Your Driving Force Success Tip, and the other one is the Real Estate Tip of the Week. The Driving Force Success Tips, where I share with you the most valuable things I've learned about the psychology of success. And any of you that have listened to me before know that really most people don't realize 80% of success in anything is your psychology and 20% is the actual mechanics. And that's what we speak to in those. And then, of course, the real estate tip is just that, short but valuable tip about multifamily real estate investing. And I hope you'll join us for those short shows. Most importantly, I really want to hear what you guys think. So if you've got any questions or comments, suggestions for guests or topics, please let me know. You can email me directly at rod@rodkhleif.com. That's rod at RODKHLEIF as in Frank.com, and I'd love to hear from you. All right, let's get this show on the road. I know you're going to get incredible value from the man we're interviewing today. His name's Mike Del Prete. And he has come over from the dark side. He has done mostly single family in the past, has done over 200 real estate transactions in the Phoenix area, did a lot of wholesaling, and now he is interested in multifamily. I'll let you tell him about, let him tell you about what he's taken down so far as multifamily units. And he's also very creative as far as financing. So we're going to have him dig into his deals and tell us how he financed them. So, Mike, I'm thrilled you're on the show, buddy.
Awesome. Thank you for having me, Rod. I really appreciate being here. Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit, expand on my introduction. I know, you did single family homes. What caused you to relook at that business model and get into multifamily and a buy and hold strategy?
Great question. So after, doing single families and multiple deals, and when I came into the business, it was around 2009, and everything was at the very bottom. So everything was super cheap. So I was just excited to be in the business. So I just wanted to make money. So that's all I knew. So just make money, sell. So after you grow, you start learning from people, reading, educating yourself. You start to see other views and other strategies of the way people do business. So I started looking back after about two and a half years. I'm like, man, the market's rising, right? Everything's getting a little better slowly. And I'm like, wow, this house is selling for $100,000. I had that for 40, and so, and then.
And instead of making $5,000, you could have made $60,000.
If I just kept it. And,
right.
And I've always met a lot of investors, the people I was selling to, they had 20 houses, 50 houses, apartments, and this wasn't resonating when I was selling them the deal because I was so focused on the small part, the $5K, like you said. And
let me interject something for a second, buddy. For those of you that don't know what wholesaling is, wholesaling is basically, Mike would go out, you find a property that's a great deal, one that would appeal to an investor, and you basically sell the contract to that investor for anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000. I suppose the average is probably about $5,000, wouldn't you say, Mike? Or is that?
Yeah, $5,000 to $7,000 is very accurate. Yes.
Right. So basically you never own the property. You're just finding deals and acting kind of as a bird dog, and it's very lucrative. And my only argument to that business model is, and any business model that's flipping or wholesaling is every January 1st you start working again. Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm such an advocate for lifetime cash flow through multifamily real estate investing. So anyway, I thank you for letting me interject that. So you saw your other friends. They had portfolios, they had rents coming in every month, and you're like, why am I not doing that?
Yeah. Like you said earlier, the light hit, and I was like, also like you said, every January, you're always chasing the deal. You're always on the hunt, even though it can be exciting.
Right.
You're always chasing. You're in the rat race, right? Like Robert Kiyosaki says. You're in the rat race. You own your job. You're always putting out marketing. You're always talking to sellers. Yes, you can build your team and have people under you and scale up and all, but you ultimately, I feel in my experience, if you wanted to run right, kind of that old saying, if you want it done right, you got to do it yourself. Like in the wholesale wise, it was always like, I got to be the one at the kitchen table, right, to close the deal. And I don't want that anymore. You know, I want to spend time with my family. I want to grow. I want to travel. I just want to try other real estate opportunities. I don't want to be stuck in that chasing the wholesale deal every day. Well,
sure. It's you know, I even tell realtors this, you know, a lot of very, very intelligent realtors that make very good money, but they have a job. They have to work. You know, you buy multifamily real estate, it's not a job. It's you know, particularly if you get the right size unit mix and you've got good management in place, whether it's your own or outside management, it's not a job. So anyway, I know that you've got right now a couple of multifamily properties. I think you mentioned a sixplex and a triplex. Let's talk about those deals. I want my listeners to hear how you took those down, because I know you've got some unique strategies. So let's go play by play from the first one.
Perfect. Let's start with a small office space in downtown Phoenix. Like I said, just about 3,000 square feet. And I owe a lot.
Actually, Mike, let's start with, if you don't mind, let's start with either the triplex or the sixplex.
All right, sixplex.
Is that all right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
thanks. So the sixplex, it's a duplex in the front, a 3-bedroom and a 1-bedroom, and 5 separate structures, 1-bedroom, 1-bath structures.
There's separate buildings on the property?
Yeah, it's very unique.
That's
unique.
very unusual. Okay.
And normally, you know, I truly believe in, you know, you should have your own investor identity and what your numbers are and who you want to be as an investor. And I prefer 2 bedrooms, but there's a guy named Ward Hannigan in San Diego. I heard what he would do is he would take his 1-bedroom, 1-bath and fill them with senior living, not assisted living, but just like senior living, no kids, no parties, no animals. They just want separate structures by themselves, and his average tenant span was 16 years. So, So when I saw this property, I was like, I can do that with this separate structure. So that's kind of one of the reasons I was excited to go into this one. The seller, which I learned these creative things from wholesaling, which I'm thankful for.
Right.
I got this deal from a bird dog, right? A wholesaler driving for dollars, just driving through their neighborhood.
So you were on the other side of a wholesale deal. Oh, that's awesome. Okay,
yes.
So you're on the investor side.
I'm growing up. So, so the guy brought me the deal. He's like, hey, I contacted the seller. It's in this area of town, vacant, boarded up. She wants $200,000 cash. I was like, okay, cool. Let's talk to her. Let's go see it. So I got the phone number, met her in person at the property, got to walk it. It's been vacant for 17 months. It's very outdated. So what it boils down to is, hey, I don't want to pay $200,000 for it. There's $40,000 in repairs. Why do you want the whole $200,000 today? You got a Pinnacle fan, you got a big tax hit possibly. What are you going to do with all this money?
So this is the conversation you're having with this lady.
With the lady. Structure, so we're talking about entering the deal, acquiring it. So she was, well, I really need the money is because I have a surgery. It was like $19,000. And I was like, okay. So you don't need all of it technically right now. She's like, no. So what I'm getting at is I was able to structure the seller carryback where I said, hey, I'll come in with $25,000 down. Let's cover your hospital bill in your surgery that she's been putting off. So she now gets go in and get that surgery. She has $5,000 in her pocket, $6,000 just to kind of just have extra. And I'll start making payments over time. I'll start making monthly payments to you. And she had no clue you could do that, right? Because us as investors, like we know some of these strategies, but the seller doesn't know. So I didn't call it a seller carryback. I didn't get into technical terms. I said, hey, what if I just gave you $25,000 now and you made payments over time? She said yes. She said she'll do it for 1 year. Like, okay,
so you did a 1 year mortgage on the property, or is that how you worked it?
Yeah, 1 year. She has first lien position. Obviously, I have a $175,000 note now.
Okay.
And she didn't even care about interest and all that stuff. I was like, and she's like, "Are you gonna give me how much money are you gonna give me every month?" I said, $200 towards the principal. She's like, "Fair enough." We shook.
Wow. So you cut $175,000 loan, and all you're paying is $200 principal payment. You're paying $2,400 for the year's payments.
Straight to principal.
Well, that's fantastic. No, that's some great negotiating. Did you befriend this lady? Did you sit with her for a while and build up some rapport with her and bond with her a little bit, or was this very quick transaction?
Yes. Well, I spoke with her 1 or 2 times over the phone, and then I met her, and I was probably there for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, see, the reason I bring that up, guys, is that is very, very important. Seller bonding with a seller. If you have an opportunity to get in front of a seller, especially elderly sellers, not to cheat them or out of anything, because you gave her price, but to develop a relationship, that can be hugely important for getting the deal you want done. Build that rapport. You don't get right into the deal. A lot of these people, that's their biggest investment in life. There's fear associated with it. They've got to have a comfort level with you. So keep that in mind. That's a very smart strategy if you can get around a realtor and actually sit with a seller to bond with them. Yeah. All right. So super. So you cut that deal now, but now you've got a 1-year note on this property, which is not exactly that's not the safest way to go. So tell me what you did or are doing. Okay.
Perfect. So, if I could just touch on the rapport really quick.
Sure.
She owned that since 1950 with her husband, and they built all those structures. So,
wow.
And it used to be a bed and breakfast, and she called it the Irish Butterfly. So
wow.
I named my LLC the Irish Butterfly for that property. and she was like, "No way, you can put a little Irish butterfly in the front of the building." So she was right down the street. So when she drives by, she sees a remodeled, and her name, and she feels good, and she was really thankful. So it was a good situation.
Yeah, I hope you guys are hearing this. I'm telling you that it works. It works with sellers, and particularly if they've got an emotional attachment like this lady obviously did. So don't underestimate the power of that.
Correct.
Okay.
And so going forward, so now I said, okay, I got this vacant building. I got this terms in place. I think I had like a 45-day closing. So now it's time to get the down payment and the renovations taken care of.
All right. So you got it under contract. You've got 45 days to close. You don't have the money. Now you're out hunting for the money.
Exactly. So over time and building a relationship, I create my own top 10 list of. I'm always having appointments, letting people know what I do and getting them on board. So we started making some calls, and I got $70,000 at 8.5% interest only for 1 year, and I used that $70,000 for.
Okay, stop right there for 1 second. All right. So you went to the relationship that you'd built, going to, I assume, to RIA meetings and people you meet just in your everyday world. You tell them that you're out there buying real estate and you're always looking for investors. Stop me if I miss something here. And you got one person to give you a $70,000 debt without any collateral, $70,000 loan without any collateral.
Promissory note. Yes.
Promissory note. Wow. Well, see, that's unusual, guys. Don't think that that's going to happen very often. I mean, that's fantastic for you, but. So what was your purpose for that debt? Was it to renovate that property, or what were you thinking?
Yes.
Okay.
We took the $25,000 down, so we could fund the down payment, closing costs, LLC costs. I think it was like $35.40 in renovation, and then the rest for reserves. Okay. So now we're paying about $500. I don't have it in front of me, but the 8.5 on the $70,000. So we got the $200 monthly payment to the seller, and then we got like the $500-$600 payment to the second position. All right. So what are you going to do now? Now we renovate it. It's leased up. I'm grossing $3,900 a month. We probably wrapped it up. All right. Let me stop you. Let me stop you again in case you guys aren't getting this math. So he's got, although it's not going to last too long, he's got payments of what is that? About $750 a month, and you're taking in $3,900 a month. Exactly. That's not a bad spread. So have you done your takeout financing yet, or are you working on that now? That's exactly where I'm at now. So I put together a little private offering with the terms and, one sheet with everything that we've done and what the new lender can get. I'm going to see that's where I'm at right now. Institutional.
So you're
funding,
trying to get private financing for this.
Yes, for $245,000 because I got to pay off. There's the 175, and I got to pay off the 70 probably by next February. So I'm starting now. Just I got my performer, I got all my numbers locked in. And
why private financing instead of institutional, like a local bank?
Because I prefer just to stay private and deal with people I work with all the time. I think personally I could help more people with 401ks and IRAs that are just sitting there not doing anything. They can do better. I can help them and they can help me, so to speak.
How are you going to find those people? Tell my listeners how you're going to find those people. How are you going to find that private money? How are you going to get to those 401ks?
It's you're always networking. You're always marketing. You're always educating people. I'm on this podcast talking. I'll answer any question you want. One of my main ways I do it is everyone I talk to, have you ever considered getting involved in real estate investing? And then we strike up the conversation. I work at Starbucks half the week. I have like a Robert Kiyosaki book right next to my computer. It's kind of like an icebreaker.
Oh, I love that. What a great idea. Just have that book out there for somebody to strike a conversation over. By the way, didn't I hear that you're a master facilitator of his board game?
That's the next step. So wherever I go, I'm striking conversations, right? I'm online, I'm at networking events, coffee shops, and they say, hey, and when that icebreaker happens, hey, have you ever considered getting involved in real estate? Yeah, no, really, why? Dig in. Why don't you just come out and check out this board game, Cash Flow 101 by Robert Kiyosaki, and kind of my little spiel about getting out of the rat race and, get out, stop living paycheck to paycheck. And every week I host it at 2 o'clock on Saturday here in Phoenix, and people come. We get 5-10 people a week. It's always up and down, and we just learn. We ask questions, and these people never learned what a balance sheet was or the balance of checkbook, or they don't know what's coming in. They don't know what's going out. And they're just amazed. And I'm that person that's teaching them. I get that credit. I build that relationship.
Of course, absolutely. So you've got credibility because you're the one bringing them. You're the one bringing them to the fountain of youth, so as it were. And now that's fantastic. Now, by the way, for those of you, if you want to check Mike out, you can see him at his website, wehearthouses.com, and we'll have that in the show notes for you as well. So you're working on the takeout financing for your sixplex. Let's talk about the triplex now. Tell us about that deal. Okay, so the triplex it's a newer, just over the last month. That deal, I found it through. I went on MLS. Okay, my wife's a part-time agent, so we have access to MLS. So I went over the past year, and I looked at all the canceled and expired transactions for multi-units in the areas I want. And then I wrote a little letter, handwritten, typed up, nice letter. Just, hey, I'm Mike, my wife and I, we're looking to grow our rental portfolio, and we're looking for small apartments in the neighborhood. Would you be willing to sell? Sent about maybe like 75 of those out. The lady called. And she's like, hey, I'm done with that property. I have 10 properties I'm selling. I just want to travel and get out of Arizona. And I'm going to sell this property to you. And if you do well and we work well together, I'll tell you about the rest. And I was like, so how much for the triplex? Tell us some details. How many bedrooms and baths in each unit? Okay. This one also is 3 separate units on a lot. Wow. Like 3 little bungalows in a historic district here in Phoenix. And I'm paying $100,000. So about, what's that, $33 a door. And there's 2 1-bedroom, 1 bath. And then there's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. And it's grossing right now $2,000. Wow. So, guys, if you ever have an opportunity to buy a property for where the rent is 2% of the purchase price, it is almost always a great deal. Okay, that was a parameter I used when I was buying houses. So, in other words, if I can buy a house for $50,000 and it'll rent for $1,000, it's always a good deal. Okay, so that's the exact formula you've got there. It's 2%. So that you got it with that kind of occupancy, or you brought
Yes.
it to that kind of occupancy?
No.
So you got it with that. Wow, that's
Yes.
fantastic. So what about terms? Is she giving you any terms?
Nope. This is a cash deal, quick cash deal. So I gotta move quick. So this one here, I'm just taking down with hard money, just to acquire it and just get it done, because she wasn't open to any creative situations. And I actually have 2 meetings I put my offering together, took down the property, and I got 2 meetings this week where I'm raising the capital just to refi the hard money lender out of the picture.
So you already have a hard money loan. To tell us how bad you got dinged for that.
That one is 20% down and 18% interest only, no fees.
18?
18. Yeah.
Hey, listen. Hey, guys, if the deal is good enough, like this deal, I used to put houses on credit cards that were at 18%. So, and this is a good deal. You're getting it 50 cents on the dollar. It's kind of a no-brainer. And the fact that it's smart that you did the 18% instead of several points up front. Because that'll pay off when you immediately take this guy out. So you're looking for an equity partner right now to take out your hard money lender, or are you looking for a debt partner?
I always start with a debt partner, but I'm always open to that discussion. You know, we just have to have every investor is different, and if this property or this deal can help me and solve my problems and solve your problems, I'm game. You know, it has to work for both of us.
That's a good way to approach it. Try the debt first. You want to have somebody loan you the money versus take a percentage of your deal. So, you always ask the question, hey, how about if I get you X amount of return on your money? Would you be secured by real estate? Would you be interested? And then if not, say, what if I gave you a piece of it? What if I gave you the return and 10%, 20%? And maybe you get more. On your first few deals, you may have to give more than that. So let me shift gears with you for a minute. By the way, that was great stuff. I think you really added value to the people listening on how you structured those 2 deals. Now, tell me a little bit, since you're a wholesaler, you know how to find deals, and let's talk about that for a minute. So you gave us one. You did your mailer to deals in the MLS that had fallen apart. Mm-hmm. Tell us some of the other strategies that people can use to find deals in their area.
One I always live by is driving for dollars, and you may have heard that. And that goes for any type of building, commercial, apartments, single family, condos, mobile homes on land. There's no reason. You need to be aware of your surroundings. So every day, taking my son to school, going grocery shopping, looking at appointments at properties I'm looking at. I'll drive around the neighborhood a little bit. Look for those neglected, distressed situations. Why is there a car with 4 flat tires in this decent neighborhood? Why is, cracked windows? I'm not the handiest guy, but I make sure my house is presentable, so there's got to be something going on where they're neglecting this property, whether it's a multi-unit or single family. So, that I've lived off that for the 5 years. It's not my main source, but I always get deals I have another actually wholesaled a triplex last year where I found it from driving for dollars, where I negotiated 0 down. I just cut my payment to him was just to cover his home equity line of credit. Just so I said, let's just stop the bleeding, because he was paying insurance and taxes, and there's crackheads in there, so they were just tearing the place up. So I came in, offered no money down. He didn't care about the money. I paid his HELOC every month, and then offered him $85,000. So I went out to the marketplace and wholesaled the terms, where I went out and said, here, you can buy this for $95,000 with $10,000 down at this low payment.
Okay, so you made a quick $10,000.
Yes.
And now you're thinking to yourself, I wish I'd have just taken that property down, because now I'd have another triplex.
Exactly. And another way, I just drove by there maybe 2 months ago, and they leveled it, and they're building a whole new complex on there. So, because a lot of buildings are going. So everyone's a little different. That would have been my game, but
right.
I say all that to say, driving for dollars. Be aware of your surroundings. Look for neglect. Look, even if you're talking to people, listen for, hey, my friend, behind on their payments. Just you'll pay attention to what's important to you. So. whether you're just drive and look for properties, man. Send them a letter, put a note on the door. I have ways on my blog that show you exactly how to get in touch with an owner that's hard to find.
Oh, good. Fantastic. Well, let me ask you this now. If for those investors or want people that want to get involved in multifamily real estate investing, what's the top tip you would tell them? What's the advice you would give them?
So getting into multi-units is a mentor, a coach, someone, whether it's someone online or someone locally, someone at their local RIA, wherever it may be. That's how I was able to excel when I started wholesaling, is because I had a mentor. I did 30 deals my first year in business because I watched and learned from somebody while I did it. So you're going to beat the learning curve. To this day, I had a coach last year, and I got another coach this year. So
yeah, I totally believe in coaches. I've had coaches for years myself, both on a business and personal, and they're very, very. It's very advantageous to have people that have no secondary gain whispering in your ear. So how about any educational type stuff? Do you have any books or anything like that you'd recommend? I think you're writing a book. I think I heard. I am as well, by the way. But do you have any books that you've read now that you'd recommend to people besides, of course, all the Kiyosaki suite? I recommend every single book he's ever written.
Man, I mean, I can go totally depend on where if it's for like more real estate or just in general, just as so
in
many,
general. Let's say in general.
Like I like The Slight Edge by
oh yeah, that's a
Olson.
great book. In fact, I'm going to actually be referencing that book in a driving force episode I'm doing on forming habits. Yeah, that's a fantastic book about making slight shifts and the huge impact they have. Yeah. Write that one down, guys. Slight Edge. If you have not read that one, you definitely want to read that one. Well, so we're as I mentioned, I do these driving force episodes, and we talk about goal setting and visualization, motivation, things of that nature.
Great.
I always like to ask, where do you get your drive? What makes you jump out of bed in the morning? What's your motivation?
Motivation is to provide a better life for my family. We love each other. We love being with each other. We love doing new things together. My wife and I have a 9-year-old son, and to give my son a better opportunity and a better chance than what I had, it wakes me up every morning. And I know that's why we jump into multifamily and cash flow, because once that passive income is up over the expenses, I don't have to go chase the deal anymore. I just got to maintain those and grow those. And I could leave that. I could pass that on to. Something happened to me tomorrow, because we're not promised tomorrow. My wife and my son have something. No
question.
So that type of thinking it keeps me going every day for sure.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's great. That's great. I met an old Jewish guy in Denver. Oh gosh, this is a lifetime ago, maybe 25, 30 years ago. And he owned all kinds of free and clear multifamily properties in Denver. I was trying to buy from him, and it didn't come together. But he told me something I've never forgotten. He said, if you want to be truly wealthy, and have, his term was buckets of money, buy multifamily real estate and just let it pay itself off. And it absolutely, that is exactly what happens. Well,
yes.
Listen, we're getting near the end of the show. I was hoping you could leave my listeners with one last little bit of advice, one little golden nugget. If they're thinking about getting real estate or want to take it to the next level, what would you tell them?
Systems, delegate. Okay, don't.
Yep.
I mean, I started off wearing all the hats. I wear every single hat. You just bog down your time. Focus on the highest income producing activities, highest impact activities you can do every day. You got to be conscious of it. Think about it every day. Be aware of what you're doing, and if it's not high impact or it's not producing income, delegate it. And it took me a while to have an assistant and bring that person on board. But once I brought the assistant on board, operations manager, now I'm looking for a CFO. You just got to push in order to truly be free. You have to have that foundation underneath you. So look at every. Great advice.
Yeah. Systemization is the key. That's how I bought, 200 houses from individual owners in 1 year with a staff of 3 people. It's systems, and I love what you said about not leveraging anything you can possibly leverage. My kids sometimes ask me why I don't mow the yard or why I don't do things around the house or whatever. Although I enjoy doing those things, I can't afford to do those things. You have to focus on your skill set and what's bringing the dollars in the door. So that's awesome advice. Mike, thank you, buddy. You definitely added value today, and I'm greatly appreciative of you being on the show. And I hope we can stay in touch and follow each other's progress. I'd love to see where you're at in a couple of years.
Of course, and thank you for having me. I'll come back anytime.
All right. You take care, Mike. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing podcast. If you've enjoyed the show, please subscribe and then take a moment to visit iTunes and leave a 5-star rating and review. For more resources to connect with us further, please visit our website at lifetimecashflowpodcast.com. Tune in next week for our next show.